Hey, and welcome to video number 2. We're going to talk about how to avoid crippling your quick response code campaign or QR code campaign. So let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I want to talk about is not necessarily required, but it definitely helps your QR code campaign. The first thing is to educate your customer on how to use QR codes. This is not required, but think for a moment. If you have a brochure or you have a flyer or you have some sort of extra space, then I would actually recommend that you do this. You want to educate the customer on how to use QR codes because not everybody knows and understands how to use QR codes. As years and months begin to pass, it'll begin to evolve and people will understand it better. But if you help educate the customer on how to use QR codes and how to go to the application marketplace and find an application that reads and scans QR codes, most of those people will actually be happy that you taught them that. And guess what? They are going to remember you because you helped educate them and you helped pre-sell them, because this is sort of like a pre-selling mechanism to help you. If you help them, they will remember that. So imagine all the other QR codes that they scan. They may not remember you, but most likely they will. So just keep that in mind. That's not required. If you have a limited amount of space, don't worry about it. If you can put a little blurb, then good. If you can't, that's fine too. But this is not something that will cripple your campaign. It's just something that is kind of need to be said and will help you kind of build that relationship with your customer, your prospect. Now let's start getting into the meat of this specific video. What turns off your customers the most? Now, most of the stuff that I'm going to talk about in this video will kind of turn your customers off if you don't do it or you're doing it. So some of the stuff might actually relate to your niche. So think in your head, okay, what turns off my customers the most? Are you dealing with a market or a niche that is not technical savvy? Are you dealing with a customer niche that is technical savvy? You know, stuff like that. So just those questions in your mind in relation to your QR code campaign can help. Another thing that turns off your customers is things not working smoothly. So I recommend that after you do some implementation, you actually test the marketing campaign. So make sure from the point of scanning that QR code from that point to the point of somebody being sent to a site, sent to a video, that every single thing works smoothly. So make sure that that's kind of like your conversion side. You know, you got people coming to your site, that's traffic. If your conversions are not converting and there's one bump in the road, then it's not going to convert. Offering something that has no relation to the incentive or the one goal. When you create your QR code campaign, you have to have one goal in mind. Do not have more than one goal. Say, for example, the realtor example. The goal of that QR code is to show the person the inside of the house. If that's the case, show videos and pictures of the inside of the house. Don't talk too much about other kind of stuff. Trying to keep a one set focus, a one goal, and keep with that. You don't want to create too many distractions, because creating too much distractions, you know, is not a good thing. You want to make sure that you offer enough value. Don't offer too much value, but offer enough that will keep the customer prospect interested. And focus. Put only useful information on the QR code. You can put a lot of information on the QR code. You can put emails, you can put links, you can put maps, you can do a ton of stuff, but it's easy to get sidetracked. And I will say it's easy when you create your QR code that a lot of times companies, you think about yourself too much. Instead of thinking about yourself, think about the customer. You know, have your mom by you, or have your dad sit next to you, or have somebody that is not part of your necessarily your business operations to sit next to you, and ask them, okay, scan your QR code. Is this too much information? Is this good enough information? Stuff like that. Because when you're part of the company, it's easy to just put a lot of information in there. So put too many distractions and it will overwhelm them. If you overwhelm them, they're going to back out. They're not going to be part of your QR code campaign. You've pretty much dumped your QR code campaign in the trash can because you've put too many distractions. You've overwhelmed them. You've created fear within them and they've backed out. So you definitely want to be pretty straightforward with them and just have that one set goal. Make sure wherever you post the QR code that there is Wi-Fi or internet access. For example, if you put a QR code, let's say on a subway wall, and in the subways, cell phone signals may not be as good. Some are not. So wherever you put your QR code, just keep in mind that if somebody does not have internet access or cell phone signals, then pretty much you're screwed. So let's say you put it on a flyer and you ask people to hand it out. If you know that people are handing it out at a specific location where the QR code cannot be used due to bad cell phone reception, or even just bad cell phone reception in itself, you want to make sure that the QR codes are in a location wherever that might be. So think to yourself, in relation to your QR code campaign and in relation to your product, where is your QR code going to be? All right. Your website needs to be mobile friendly. And we're going to talk about that in video number 4 on how to make sure that your website or that specific landing page is mobile friendly. Because if it's not, guess what? People are going to get angry. They're going to get irritated. And all the work that you put into value is going to be lost. So as you can see, every step of the way needs to be done right. Whatever you put your QR code on, make sure that it is easy for people to scan. If you put it on a t-shirt and the t-shirt's wrinkly and it has problems, then people are going to have, so make sure you put it on a good quality t-shirt that doesn't stay too wrinkly. So just get an idea, not only where is it going to be located, but where is that QR code going to be on? Is it going to be on some paper that might be lousy, that might be folding easily? Or is it on a tissue paper? People have done a lot of crazy things over the years. So that's just something to keep in mind. It may be common sense to you, but it's just something that you want to keep in mind. Don't get too fancy with text. And don't get too fancy with your QR codes. Some people can get really fancy, think, oh, this looks good, this presentation, that's great. But if your QR code is not scannable, then what does that mean? That's not good at all. So you want to make sure that everything is simple, straightforward, and easy to scan. And of course, don't forget to test your QR code.